Welcome everybody. How you doing? Good morning. This is TED Talks, and we are talking about Grim 101, the fulfillment of the project that I had started back in late April. We did a Kickstarter. And the book's been going on for about 2 years now, 2 or 3 years, in my noggin and everything, trying to write it. But we ended up doing a Kickstarter and was funded, fully funded, overfunded, and we are fulfilling it now. So this week, what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring up what it took to get to this point. The money, the headaches, the laughs, the tears, and the eventual payoff to it all. Not as far as monetarily what you make on the campaign, but what monies are invested and then what goes back out into the product. I mean, truth be known, a lot of people don't make money on these campaigns, and I'm one of them. We are doing this to provide more exposure for the book. It's not done to make an economic transition in your life, even though a lot of us need it right now because of everything that's been going on in the world with the pandemic. But I'm going to show you what I've come up with, the plan of how I do things, how I'm going to change things on the next campaign to continue on with the book series with Grim 101 Book 2. And I'm going to show you a little bit of the insight about packaging, everything else on how it works to get this product safely to the consumer. So, and let's go through that. I think it'll be a good conversation, and I'm hoping it'll help some people that are trying to kind of on the fence about what they're going to do, if they're going to try to do a crowdfunding campaign, whether it's Indiegogo or Kickstarter or what have you. So, but I want to say good morning to everybody. I want to talk about what's in our coffee cup this morning. Indian River Roasting Company, of course, actually, you know what? I don't have Waking Dragon today. I have espresso. One of the things about Chris doesn't drink coffee like I do, but she likes a shot of espresso in her what is it? What kind of chai tea? So has a little bit of a dirty chai. So that's what she likes. And so we had a little bit of espresso left over this morning. So that's what's in my coffee cup. So let's check out what Indian River Roasting Company is all about. If I can find the promo here, give me 1 second. There it is. Here at Ted Davies Artistry, we take coffee seriously. And so does our sponsor, Indian River Roasting Company. It's fair trade, organic, and they're artisans just like me. The only difference is I use watercolor and ink and they use coffee beans. And I enjoy it all through my day. So do yourself a favor, go to the description when you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Find Indian River Roasting Company's website. Use the promo code CaffeinateTED2021 and save 10% on your purchase. Yeah, so use that promo code CaffeinateTED2021. It'll save you 10%. You'll find the website, Indian River Roasting Company, in the description of this channel, and save a few pennies when you use that code. Check out everything that they're doing. They are awesome. Okay, also, John Cashman and Cashman's Comics in Bay City is another great sponsor. We're going to check out everything he's doing. He's got a sale that's ending soon, September 4th, so check out everything he's doing. Buy some stuff online, have it sent out to the house. He goes nationwide. On delivery, and he can help you out. Give him 1 second and we'll check him out.
And every day I wake up feeling the same way now. Need to find something to believe. Every night the dreams we make, they're haunting my head now.
Yeah, check out everything that John's doing. Say hi to Petey if you go down to the store. He's the best comic book guard dog you could possibly imagine if you go see them. Tell them both that TED Talk sent you. and that would be awesome. And if you don't go, if you can't get down to Bay City, or if you're nation, somewhere far away in the States, you can always shop online, cashmanscomics.com. He ships nationwide. Whether you're a novice collector or a seasoned collector like myself, he can help you out. So check out everything that he's doing. I also want to tell you about our proud affiliation with the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Check out everything that we're doing. Now, Tuesdays are pretty crazy around here because we start out with me with TED Talks at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard, and then we finish out the day with Clever Title Pending with Brian, which is awesome. Brian is kind of the grand poobah of the whole thing, and he's just got a great show always. He's always got something going on. So check out everything we're doing there. We're a group of creatives that help creatives build their business. So if you're a creative, if you're a writer, an artist, an entrepreneur, check out everything we're doing, because we've got education, entertainment 7 days a week, and we'd love to help you out. Plug into what we're doing. Rising Tide Broadcast Network on Facebook, and check out everything that we're doing on all these YouTube channels on this great station. So check it all out. Take a snapshot of that, and I think we're about ready to start the show. I have had over my left shoulder here, I've got a new drawing that I just did Sunday. I've got a lot of activity happening about it, and people are asking me what was the inspiration. Well, I wanted to do something a little bit different with the Joker. I'm not a I don't like, everybody does the Joker a certain way. I wanted to do something a little bit different, but with Batman and that, my style is a little different from the norm too. But I wanted to show just a picture here. Some of the people were asking about on Instagram, and I've had a lot of people actually wanted to know if it was available digitally. I can talk to some people. Just message me, and we can discuss that. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing a few things with Batman, a few other things. I know it's DC. Everybody knows I'm not a huge DC fan, but Batman's kind of a staple diet around here. So, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Tell me what you guys think. Hopefully you like it. So, and all right. Okay, so going down the list here. So Grim 101 is a book that I'm going to check out everybody's comments too here in a second. Grim 101 is a book that I came up with a couple years ago, and it's about a being that is in a cemetery, and he doesn't know why he's there. He found himself there. He has amnesia, if you want to call it that. He doesn't recall anything he knew prior to the time that he's there. He's invisible. People can't hear him, and he stumbles upon a book called Grim 101, and it's a manual of how to be a grim in a cemetery. And it's kind of an endearing story. It's a very dark comedy because he meets a woman that bought the cottage next door to the cemetery, and she's the only one that can see and hear him. So it's a really interesting story, and I think you guys will like it. I think that it's like I said, it's a very endearing story about how people can help each other reach their point of where they need to be, whether it's in life or in death or whatever. So check out what we're doing with that one. But the first thing about Grim 101 is I decided to do a Kickstarter, not to make loads of money, but I wanted the exposure. And it succeeded. That was the thing about exposure. Is a funny thing, especially here in Michigan, as in the northern states and up in Canada. Exposure can be deadly, right? So in the winter especially. And sometimes as an artist, that can be very, very dangerous too. But exposure in this regard is meant so that eyes see my work on a different level. I want people to see it from all different areas. My work's been sold all over the world, Japan, Germany, before this, and that's great. But I wanted something a little bit more fan based, a little bit more inclusive. And that's what I got with Kickstarter. So we'll talk about that in a second. Good morning. I want to say hi to everybody. We're looks like we're international. We got Glenn, we got Donna, Carl, we have Willow. Good morning, everybody. We've got Paul. How you doing? It's good, sir. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I mean, we got so much. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. I'm just going through it. And Pete, what's up, man? How you doing? Hope you are doing well. Every one of you on this call, I think that Glenn might not have because of the UK. I'm not going to be sending any books to the UK right now, but every single one of you, I believe, invested in this, and I appreciate it greatly. If you are checking in later, not with the live feed, it means the world to me that people care enough about my work that you would invest your hard-earned money with me, and it means a lot to me. Having said that, I think fulfillment is, that's the key to all of this. I've read articles about people that have paid for investments with Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and they never received a book. It's been years, some people, and that's just that's unimaginable. I can't. I just don't understand it. You've got to fulfill. If anything that you set out to do with the Kickstarter Indiegogo, the paramount thing is you provide that product that you promised the consumer, your fan base. You have to do that. There's no question about it. And if there's any inclination that you're not going to make that happen, then don't even start it. So, having said that, first, make sure that you've got a plan that will work this thing out to the point where you'll have a product, and be upfront with your fan base, with your consumers. Let them know if you're having problems with the printer. Let them know if you aren't going to be able to fulfill in that timeline. One of the things about that I'm going to work on better on the next book is I'm going to be more apt to be on email constantly. I do it a lot on my shows, but sometimes people miss the shows or they don't have time to watch it. So I'm going to start doing that on the next campaign. I'm going to make sure you've got my commitment that I'm going to make sure that these there's going to be not it'll be weekly, but I'll have an update so that you guys know. Not to the point where you just don't even want to click on it anymore, but I want you to know what's going on. So, but again, this is my first campaign. I couldn't have done it without Lisa Malone. She was awesome with Malone Management. She was great. But the fulfillment's on me. I mean, the management, getting it to the point where we're funded, and that was Lisa's bag. But now it's on me to get this thing done. So that means getting a hold of the printer, setting up everything, getting a hold of a book. Um, what do you call it? A layout expert to get everything laid out the way you want it, but also the way that they need to format it for the printer. Big deal. It's a really confusing thing sometimes. Some people don't have the problem. They just click and paste and it's no big deal. For me, it's a little bit different because I've got artwork, different sized artwork that has to be stretched or moved or recolored or whatever. So there's a lot of things there that you've got to be aware of, because there's always something. There's going to be a little fly in the ointment all the time. You can't get around that. So in that, expect that you're going to have flies on the windshield. It doesn't mean the car has to stop on the road. You got to keep going. And if you need to get, have a good support system. Make sure that you're the group that's not just invested with you, but you've got a good core. If you've got a good core group of people that, like the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, I know if I needed something, I could message somebody and I know I could get an answer back, even if it's just not. I don't necessarily want a boy or anything, but I want, if I have a question on deliveries or printers, I've seen other creators that had problems with printers. They couldn't get the printing done, or they couldn't read the files, so I gave them another option for a printer possibly that might work for them. Whatever. You've got to have a support system. And I know that hopefully I provide that to you guys. I'm hoping. And you guys are always been so supportive to me, and I appreciate it greatly. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is set your goal in Kickstarter. How much is it going to cost? Okay. Well, what are you doing? Are you going to have a management team manage the thing? Make sure that you get that covered. Make sure that if it's spelled out that they're going to take a percentage of your earnings. Keep in mind too, Kickstarter takes percentages. So you're going to have to overestimate your costs. The books that I've got, from the printer are X amount of dollars, but then you've got delivery, plus you've got a surcharge, you've got all these other things, plus you've got ISBN codes, you've got barcodes, you've got all these things that are going to be adding on to this. So it's not just, you're going to be selling the book for $10. I mean, you really have to look at it. These are the first drafts of your book. So they are valuable in that. And the people that invested should get the best, first drafts that you could possibly do signed, so that when your book takes off, they reap the benefit if they ever want to sell it. They reap the benefit because they were the ones that put the money up front first. That's what I look for in this type of interaction of this evolutionary creative process. Because it's not just about me putting out a book about an idea I had. It's about the continuation of the fan base, the client base, and how you interact with them. This thing will be building on at shows later as we get healthier and everything else. When we go to shows and we're doing things, what you're doing right now, if you supply in the Kickstarter or the Indiegogo chain, it will it'll promote you in the years to come. So keep this in mind that the people that are investing with you deserve the best that you can possibly afford to do with what you're doing with your campaign. It might not be the best book on the planet, the first productions. You'll fix that. You'll tweak it as you go. Even this book, I've got a few things that I changed a few things, but I'm going to be changing other ones in years to come. Okay. So I know I'm talking a lot. So if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. I'm going to kind of go back and forth a little bit. Okay. So, Glenn, okay, I can set it up for the printer for you. Let's see. Is that what, let me, I'm going to just read it. I don't know if this was meant for me or what that, I think that's what he meant, but I'm not sure. Let me know, Glenn. If you guys have questions or anything or statements, whatever. Eric, I want to say hello. Fulfillment is so much fun. It is. Yeah. Eric, here, perfect example. Okay. So my first Kickstarter, I ended up having 60 people. I think it came out to like 59 people. Now that doesn't mean 59 books. There was like multiple packs. There was, I had executive packs. I had one nice thing that I provided for, and I think that Eric, you did too, was you offer special deals to the comic book stores that are going to be selling your goods. So you buy a multi-pack, multi-pack, and they're discounted rates. But in that, 59, I have 60 people that invested with me, 60 entities, but I had like 100 and some odd books or something like that. So keep that in mind. Eric had 200 people, I think 200 different, I want to say close to 200. That fulfillment's massive. So he's got tricks of what he did, labels that he bought, things of that sort that are already done. He taught me a little bit about that. I'm not doing that on mine because I like being agitated and frustrated. So I'm filling out each of one of my labels myself because it's kind of late in the game now. I want to make sure that I get these out this week because I promised. And the other thing too, when you promise it in September, you better deliver it in September. I wanted to do it so that I've got it the first week of September. I can get it out in the mail before Labor Day. That way, it's pretty much set to go right after Labor Day. The kids are back in school now. It looks like they're going to be, and then people can start getting their books in, and then it gives them a little bit of hope for the fall. But it's fulfilled. I committed to that time frame, and yes, it was stressful, and yes, I appreciate your patience on it. And it was 3 months, 2 months, whatever it was. Good stuff. I mean, that gives you enough time to breathe. I don't know what Eric did on his, but kudos to Eric because he's really answered a lot of questions, and I'm sure that if I've got the answers, I will definitely. If you got questions, go ahead and message me. I'll be more than happy to. And if I don't know, maybe I can find out for you. Okay. Sorry, I know I'm talking a lot. Okay, what does Carl say here? That's what I want to learn about the Eric. I've thought about doing it for the Mad Gasser 2. Let me go back here. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me. Mad Gasser 2, but I want to know what I'm getting myself into here. I want to see Ted taping boxes together. Well, you might have that opportunity. I ran out of tape last night, so I've got to go actually to the store. Once we're done here, I'm going to be going on. I got to get some labels and a few things. Yeah, Aaron, I've got Aaron Dowens here. Good morning, sir. How you doing too? Well, fulfillment, what a better problem to have. Fulfillment means you're not an imposter. It means that you are providing a need. You've told people that you would fulfill something, and you did. So all the naysayers can go jump in a lake. Pardon the pun, since we live in a lake. But yeah, I'm going to show you a few things on Grimm, and I'm going to show you the books, a little bit of the books too. But I want to make sure that you guys know that mistakes happen. All kinds of stuff can happen when it comes to this. These things. You got people dropping off that don't pay, that may want a refund, and that's fine. Don't, because you're going to have some trolls like that anyway that are just going to drop off. Expect it. So don't, if one or two drop off, that's great compared to like say 10 or 20. I know even Brian talked about he had a huge number one person invested in, and then they dropped off like 2 days before the thing completed. So keep that in mind. It's a balance. So what you want to do is build your core base of people. How do you do that? Okay, so you're setting a goal for yourself. You price things out, find out what it's going to run, and then add 25% more on top of it after everything's you figure it out. I figured $1,000 I could reach that. That was a manageable thing. The economics in the country during that time, even now, is not awesome. So I think $1,000 is completely doable. Um, and you got to be real with yourself. I mean, you've got to be able to make that thing happen for $1,000. And it's not. Sometimes it doesn't happen for $1,000. I'm telling you now, it's probably even after everything, it's costing me money to get everything sent out, which is okay. We funded with 2,400 and some odd dollars. Original was $1,000, I think, with everything. But I also had a management team, which I paid Lisa, all that fun stuff. I got a lot of different things for packaging too that I want to show you why I did this because I want to make sure that, and this is my experiment too of how we get these things safely to you. And I think that it's really important you guys look at all of this. This isn't reusing boxes and bubble wrap from other things that you got in the mail. You know, people deserve the best that you can get for them to, when they invest with you. I firmly believe that. And you need to make sure that you're taking care of them and give them a little extra. If that means that it means that you go and buy Gemini mailers, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, then you do that. Amazon's, it's an evil master sometimes, but you've got the power with your money. You can do a lot of things right now. So shop, do some things, find out, get your marketing plan together. Where do you need to be? Do you need to be $1,500, $2,000, $3,000? I mean, these are numbers that are easily achievable, but that money's going to go right out. Don't think you're going to get wealthy doing this. Yeah, there are campaigns that make millions of dollars. Okay, that's great. That's a flash in the pan, though. I mean, you can't rely on that. You might be able to get that. I'm not saying that, but I mean that's rare. And don't set the goal so high that it's not achievable because that's just going to frustrate you. It's going to frustrate everybody that wanted to be part of your program, and it's a no-win scenario. So Kickstarter's all or nothing. Indiegogo's not. I haven't run any campaigns in Indiegogo yet. So, and I know that there's a few people that I trust that have. I know Eric Hawkins has, and he's fantastic, and I trust his judgment on things. He'll tell you straight up, and that's one thing I really respect about Eric. If it doesn't work, he'll tell you, and if it's not something that he would back, he'll tell you. So, and that's why I really like him a lot because he's there's a way that he presents it to where it's not insulting, but it's assertive and you get the message. So, and he's truthful. So, and you got to be truthful about this whole thing. If you're on Kickstarter, you're going to have a lot of people that are poking fun at it or whatever else. And if they do, so what? You know what? They're not paying your bills. And if they are, then maybe you should listen to them, or maybe you should be doing something else. But you need to make sure that you're thinking of it as a business transaction and that these people are investors, just like a bank would be for your business. But there's a difference. You're building a client base, and they want your work. They're fans. So make sure that you're treating them with the utmost respect and making sure you fulfill the thing that you promised. Now, the products, I mean, do you need all the tchotchkes? Do you need the pins? Do you need the binder, or not binders? Do you need the book? I can't think right now. Do you need to have all these things as far as the thing I love about Eric, what Eric did was the stuff that he's got, the pins, the coasters, they're all high quality. They're not garbage. And that's one thing I noticed with Aaron Down. He's on here too. Very good products. The books are fantastic. The covers are amazing. They're embossed or whatever. They've got the bookmarks are well done. I didn't want to get into all that. I want the books to speak for themselves. I wanted to show, and I'm not taking away from them. It's just I'm just not there yet. I don't know if I want to do that yet. Even the poker chips are awesome that Eric put out. Fantastic. They're really cool. but it's not about what I would do for my books. And that's something too. You've got to cater to your audience. If they want that stuff, then go for it. I didn't think Grim 101 was a poker chip type of book. But there are some in book 2, there's going to be some things that I'm going to be doing a little bit differently. I think that there's going to be a few add-ons that are going to be a little bit more costly, but they're one-offs, and I think people are really going to enjoy it. One of the things I did with this was I used part of the book's artwork as bookmarks, and I basically salvaged, if you want to call it that, some of the artwork that I used, and I made them into bookmarks with, and each of them are, I actually remarked on each one of them lines from the book. So that one, it's all handwritten. It's not anything real fancy, but it's cool. It's my hand, and I'm trying to do something a little different than the norm, and try to do that too. I don't want to sell my book because I ended up having a pin of Jim the Grim or something. I want it to be an add-on if they want it. And I'm not taking anything away from Eric or from Aaron or any of these other people that have done that. They do some amazing work. Just for me, it wasn't right. And that was part of my marketing plan. Maybe I failed in that. Maybe I could have gotten more money if I did, that and produced more. But that, in the same respect, Eric had 200 people. That's a lot. That is a lot to fill, a lot of fulfillment. He'll tell you. And I just don't know if I was ready for anything of that. 60, I can manage. 100, maybe I can manage. And that's what I'm shooting for. I'm not going to have something that's going to be, I can't do it. I didn't have, I wanted to make sure it was doable and achievable. So get your products, make sure that your book pricing's correct, make sure that they can fulfill it, the printer can fulfill them. If you need to do a survey, send people out, what are you looking for? As you're doing your as you're doing your marketing side of it, get onto podcasts. That's one thing that Lisa did for me. She got me onto a lot of podcasts that I wasn't involved in. Sometimes in your circle, you get too well known in your own circle. When you're outside of that circle, it even makes your circle larger. And that's one reason why I wanted Lisa involved as a publicist too, because it helped me big time get onto other shows that I wouldn't have normally been on. Okay. The other thing is, as far as fulfillment, make sure that you know which countries you're able to sell to. Canada was one thing. I could possibly get them there. I know it's going to take a little bit longer. Willow, sorry about that. I'm still sending them out this week, but I don't know how long it's going to take to get across the border. But that goes for anybody that's in Canada. I know I sold quite a few copies in Canada. Thank you, Willow, if you promoted that. Thank you. But in that, it's going to take a little bit longer, and it costs more money, but it's not. I mean, like I said, it's all relative. This isn't about making money. This is about getting the product out. I was completely blown away when I had completely blown away that I had people in Germany and the UK and Japan, and I couldn't believe it on that end, because I knew that I sold like my other artwork and my prints and stuff like that over the years in other countries, but having my book sell digitally, thank God it's digitally, because it would have cost me a fortune to get them there. The other thing is too, make sure you've got a printer that has capabilities that can print overseas. I've got one that does that, and I know that I could probably send a couple copies over to Glenn, and he'd house them for me for a couple weeks. I'm sure, maybe, I don't know, maybe not, but there's ways that you can do it. You just have to make sure that your marketing plan, your products are available so that you can get them shipped out. And I would probably always do this, have everything sent to your home, and then have the fulfillment done from your house so that you've got your hands on it, so that you know exactly, what's going, what's going where. And if you want to add something on to somebody's order, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. I know I'm not looking through the comments too much, guys, so just bear with me. Let me see. What was that, Willow? I didn't see that. I was happy to host you if you need more for shit. No, not at all. And that's just what I mean. This is a prime example. So Willow, she's not really affiliated with Rising Tide. She shares my workout more than I do. She's amazing. And in that, you take care of your people. Willow, even if it cost me 3 times the amount of shipping, it didn't matter. I would still ship it to you with no extra charge. You've already paid for it. It was the least I can do with all the things that you were so helpful. And that goes for anybody here. I mean, it's, but Willow especially, I mean, you're an exception to the rule. But yeah, so, and I appreciate that thought. Okay, so the future, let me go back. I know that Paul asked about Grimm book 2. So once we're going to get into the production of how I'm doing the mailers and stuff for book 1. Book 2 is going to be coming out. The Kickstarter is going to be in October. I don't have all the ins and outs yet, though. I'm doing it, yes, marketing wise, absolutely. It's cemetery. It's a cemetery. It's graveyard. It's Jim the Grimm. I mean, it's a full gamut. Book 2 is going to be more so about Gwendolyn, though, the interest that he finds. And once you read the book, you'll find out a little bit more about Gwen and who she is. Book 2 is going to be from her perspective. Book 1 is from Jim's perspective, his memoir, if you will. Her book is going to be a little bit bigger because obviously she's got a lot more to say. And there's going to be a little bit more artwork. So it will be a little bit bigger. I think that the initial investment, there's not investment per se, but the initial where I'm trying to, the threshold for the monies is going to be more than $1,000. I think it's going to be, I'm going to reach that goal, but it's going to be probably at least double that, I would believe. But in that, the books are going to be, they're going to be actually very similar to book 1. But I'm going to have a little bit of a change up in book 2. I'm still working on that. But the hardbacks, I'm going to actually have the same cover throughout all 4 books. But each one's going to have book 2, book 3, book 4. So when you see that, you'll understand why. Because I kind of wanted to compile it into when you look at it, it'll be all the same. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Eric said I went through 152 yards of tape. Are you kidding me? No way. Well, see, that's what I'm getting at. I ran out of tape. I've got to go get a bunch of it. I ran out yesterday. So yeah, I don't doubt that at all. Okay. Let me go back here for a second. Okay. Eric Hawkins, hold on. International shipping is ridiculous. I changed $20 or charged $20 for my international. I hate doing it, but even then I'm sometimes losing money on the shipping. Yeah. And that's, you've got to allow yourself some breaking there. I mean, there's other ones I know that the shipping won't be as much. And then there's other ones I know there will be. So how do you balance it? It's a crapshoot. But you need to take care of your people. So you make sure that you're upfront with everybody, make sure that and you're not, you don't have to be a nice person. How can I put it? You can be a nice person, but you don't have to be poor. You can try to, you have to do it economically because Kickstarter does charge. So you've got to make sure that you really understand that concept. Lisa Malone knows that. She knows, she was very upfront about a lot of things because I had a hard time, charging for certain things. I'm glad I did now because I look back on it and because of all the percentages and everything else, I mean, you can get really hit hard on it. So, and what a better problem to have because you're fulfilling the demand that your consumers want, your fan base. So you know what? For me, I'm not stressing out about that. I am stressing out when I couldn't get the printer to format things properly, and I had to call Caitlin, the book layout expert that I've got. She's fantastic, Caitlin Ryan, and she's she knows the ins and outs of that, of how to work magic on a lot of these things. But I want to make sure that you understand, the book itself was more important to me than any of the way the paper looked or whether the page is open here or whatever. There's so many different facets to production that you lose the story sometimes. And I didn't want to do that because when it boils down to it, it's the story, and it could be written on a napkin if it really mattered. But I want it somewhat the presentation to be quality. But the book 2 though coming out, like I said, it'll be larger. It'll be in October. I would think that we're probably going to launch it the first week of October. I know a lot of people are doing that right now, so we're going to see where I'm at with that. But it'll probably be a 21-day again, like we did, and it'll be Kickstarter. But I really want to get these out to you first. I want to get the fulfillment done. Then after that, I'll see how many books, if I have any left over, then I'll start putting some other ones on the market. But the first people that invested with me to get this thing up off the ground, get the fulfillment first. Nobody else touches it. All the digital work, digital orders will be sent out this weekend, if not before. So anybody that's listening to this that's across the globe that's invested with me, I'll get the digital copies out. It'll be through email. And if I have any problems with that, I'll contact you. But that should be pretty cut and dry. Okay, so let's get to it. Let me see. I'm misreading Glenn real quick. What was that, Glenn? I'm just going to read it. Total of the way of the package, take it to the post office or go online in the way it measures. Yeah. Well, and yeah, that's it. That's the other thing too. Let's talk about that real quick. Eric, I know that you, I don't know if you hadn't picked the things up. I'm actually taking things to the post office. And since we're kind of in a smaller venue, I asked if I should break it up, maybe 20 one day, 20 the next day, and 20. She says, no, just bring them in. So that should be an interesting afternoon. I'm mailing things out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week because I'm giving myself some barrier just in case. But let me split the screen here. I'll get back to your comments in a few minutes. And let's talk a little bit about the books. Okay, so I'm going to full screen this. You guys can hear me okay, I'm sure. So the first book, Grimm 101, the soft cover, you'll notice that it's got obviously Grimm 101, book 1. Okay, so on the next cover, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I'm still up in the air on this one yet. I think what I might do is I might change the, it's a white, it wasn't very large. So to write something on the side, it just wasn't coming out right. So I just said, forget it. I'm just going to leave it white. I think on the next ones though, book 2 through 4, I think I'm going to have a different color, a slight darker variation of the blue, possibly like his jacket. Very, very subtle. And I think maybe the last one will be the red, like the book. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. As the story goes, you'll notice that there's excuse me, there's a lot of black line on this, and that's actually way Jim is developing. Excuse me, developing into that into this character by the end of the book. In the excuse me, in the series, he starts out like this, very ethereal, very just not a very dark line at all. And that's something that I want you guys to understand. As the story progresses, he will get more defined. So will the book, so will the art. So in that, I don't want to bend back this spine too much, but it'll give you an idea of the start out of the book and the different, just the way it's laid out accordingly. Let me see what we've got here. But it's very subtle. Now I want to point out to this to you too. So in this, I left spaces in here for a reason. So I want teachers to look at this too, because as you're teaching, I left areas for students to remark, or if you guys bring these books to me to different events, I can draw in these too for you. I've left a couple pages in the back as well on both of these, so that if people are making notes of the book or remarks of the book, it's there so that you can either draw if you want to. I want to have this as an interactive thing. That was one of the reasons I left some spacing in this, so that if later on we meet on different shows and that, you bring the books in, I'll sign them accordingly, or maybe even remark in them if you want me to. Or if you're teaching with these books, if you're an educator, which I think you guys should be all millionaires if you are educators, there's space in this that there's margins. So if they have a note, or if they want to state something about this, or that, if they want to start journaling, they have a room for this. And I'm not saying that this is meant for a younger audience. It's not. But if you've got somebody that's teenager, young adult, up to an adult, I think that this, literary wise, this is going to offer a lot of options. Very happy with the printing. I put barcodes on all of this. I think that it's important that you guys look into this, ISBNs. I can get you some information or some links onto that if you guys don't know where to go with that, but just message me. really, it's paramount that you do this because you're going to be selling these in stores. And I want to make it easier on people like John Cashman and other people that are purchasing my books across country, as far as comic book stores and that. It makes it a lot easier for them. And that's just good business. So now, Grim 101. That turned out beautifully. I'm very, very pleased. I wanted the we moved this over to slightly, so it's a little off kilter. And I did that. I left it that way because the story's a little off. So it's meant to be that way. So when you're looking at it, really take in that there was a design element to this. Grim 101, and then it says book one. Okay. So, and the way that they laid this out, and I think that Caitlin really did a marvelous job, as well as Tim at the printer. So you see the way that the book wraps around, and that was the whole idea. I wanted it so that when you have a stack of these, they all line up together. And yeah, so I mean, I think it just looks beautiful. Did such a good job. I'm very, very, very pleased. Very pleased. Yeah, this is just dynamic. What was that, Glenn? Why not fulfill through such as Mixum UK? That way I could post from the UK, Europe for you. Well, I am actually. Mixum is who I used. They're out of Chicago. They also have a hub in the UK. Dynamite. They've done all my books, and everything that I've done have just been just exceptional. But the way that this looks, it's just fantastic. Between Caitlin doing her job with it and her artistic background, and then with Tim over at Mixum in Chicago, they just did just a superb job for what it is. I mean, this is a hardback book. It's not leather. It looks like it's leather. That's what I wanted. It's faux, it's just a print. And it's just great. I wanted to have, you can have these, this could either be black or white. I really wanted it white so that I can either draw on this or I can sign it accordingly. But I wanted something different from this. I wanted the end pages to be, whether it's a dedication or whatever, so that, it's a best way to do it, I think, for your, and you can do it in black too, or whatever. You can have all different kinds of end pages. But I wanted to make sure that I left areas so that people can actually make notations, or if I decide that, if I want to write something to someone, I've got that room. But there's room here so that the people that are reading this, especially in the educational field, they can make notations to it. The books look terrific, though. I've got a few changes I'm going to be doing in the next couple books, just from sizing and that, but they turned out great. The digital quality is excellent. And I'm over the moon. They did such a good job with it. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think it looks good? Do you think that the book looks decent? Just yes or no. Just that would be great. I would love to have an interaction on that, just so I know. And if you guys could like and share this too, that would be awesome. Since we're talking about it. But yeah, I am so sorry. I've had weather's been crazy here. But it's the humidity levels have been nuts, and I know that the pollen in that is. Let me get some coffee here. I need to have a cigar, I think. All right, so thank you, Carl. Thanks, Glenn. I thought they stepped up. I really was impressed. So keep that in mind. The products, they're only good as who makes it, I guess. Okay, Paul. And by the way, Paul, I want to tell you real quick, I've got a separate mailer that I'm going to be mailing out to you with the artwork. I have not gotten the package yet to mail it out in. So that might take me probably by the end of the week. I'll get it out. If I do not get this out before Labor Day, it'll be Tuesday before I go to California. I'll make sure that it's mailed out, though, to you. I want to make sure I've got the correct package before I put the artwork in, just so that you know, Paul. And that's another thing too. We talking about fulfillment. People, let me split this screen back a little bit. Hold on one second. When you're dealing with fulfillment, make sure that people, once bitten, twice shy. Make sure that some people have really been screwed over in Kickstarter. So make sure that you've got a little, if somebody, even if they're spending $5 with you, make sure that they know what's going on, because it's a very important thing. I know that there was some confusion on a few things with Paul and I on certain books that he bought, and I thought one thing and I didn't make a mention back to him, and I wanted, and it was a little bit of confusion, but Paul handled it in stride, and we since worked it out. I know we've got a good line of communication, but it's really important. Make sure that your communication is there, because it's not something that's no communication's worse than actually having a discussion. So make sure that you do that with people, because it's they're investing their dimes with you guys, and it doesn't come by easily nowadays. Okay, where are we at? No problem, Paul. My pleasure. And like I said, I'll get that shipped out to you. Like I said, I'll try to do it by Friday, but just in case. Thanks, Pete. I appreciate it. I know that. Yeah. So Pete's wife, Caitlin, did the layout for this, and she does actually all of it on both books. There's a couple things like I said, we're going to be changing in the future, and she does all the PDF work, so that we send everything out. So she's terrific. So if anybody needs any work, hey, you know what? As long as she's not spread too thin with my stuff going on, hey, more power to it. You know what, Eric? I think that might be something that we could do. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you guys want cigar cutters. Grimm 101 cigar cutters. Little tacky, but maybe we could do it. Mixum did your ash can. Excellent. And the ash can was awesome. I think that was one of the best parts of, I love your book. Zombieful World of Oz. I'm sorry, Eric. The book series Zombieful World of Oz is just awesome. Anybody has a few bucks needs to invest in the whole series. The ash can, I thought, was the best thing out of the last of the series, out of the last package grouping that you had, because it shows all of your method to your madness, the artwork, really nice development sketches, really well done. And I think I'm going to offer that on the completion of this on the last book of Grimm 101, book 4. Don't worry, we got time. Your book 2 is coming out, but there you go. Paul's got a great one. Okay, Pete, listen up. Grimm 101 coffee. There you go. That's, this is the thing. We're creative minds, and I'm thinking all the time, and I don't come up with this brilliant stuff. So thank you, guys. Pete, we'll talk later about that. Okay, so let's talk about this. First off, let me move these books real quick. These beautiful books, if I can find a space for them. This is a Gemini mailer, and the Gemini mailers come in packs. It's corrugated cardboard. It comes with a stamp there, says Gemini mailer, and they come in a huge box. Now on Amazon, I bought this 100 pack for $79. So the 100 pack will cover everything I need for what I'm shipping out right now. So that's an added cost, right? It's $80, but hey, that's well worth it. And I'm going to show you why. Everybody that I think that is dealing with this has received a Gemini mailer from somebody or uses them, right? Glenn says 101T. All right, Grimm 101T or red wine. We'll talk about the red wine. Maybe I can work with something on that. We'll see. That might work. But okay. So in any case, as you fold these up, it's kind of like origami. They're perforated folding. And the Gemini, I showed you that label before. I want to show you how this works. So what I do now with all my books, though, and in the series of books, whether you're buying a multiple pack or whatever, multi-pack, I bag and board all of them. So this is a standard comic book bag and board, but it wraps it up nicely. It's kind of like shrink wrap, holds it in place. It's durable. You can reuse this for something else if you don't want to use this when you get it. That's on my dime. But this is easy. This doesn't cost very much. I mean, these are probably 50 cents, maybe total 37 cents, I think, with bag and board. And it makes a world of difference for people. Or, I mean, if you want to, I mean, eventually I thought about maybe even signing these, and eventually like a message to people for thanking them for purchasing. So something to think about. You can use this for advertising, your website, all kinds of stuff. So, but in that, you can see how it works. I mean, it folds together. All right. So, and if you're lucky enough, if you were wise enough, you would have also got the print. And the print is also in this package. So that turned out beautifully, huh? I had some issues. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't real Wasn't real impressed with the printer that did this. There was some things that I had to reconstruct a little bit on these, but they turned out beautifully as far as the print goes itself. Just exceptional, and I'm very happy that I'm very happy that I got these ones done. I don't think I'm going to use the printer again. In fact, I know I won't. And that was not Mixam. Mixam was fantastic with the books. They did not print any of my prints. But in any case, these turned out beautifully. Like I said, I'm not going to use the printer again, but they turned out very, very well for what I had to do to them. But they look really, really good. So in that, what I've done though is on this, I've also put a secondary cardboard piece when I'm mailing this on top of this. Then the carrier for the book goes on here. And then I haven't decided, it depends on how many books are in this. I'm usually not going to tape this. Usually I have this taped. I have the, if you notice this, I don't know if I did it on this one. Of course, I didn't do it on this one. But I usually tape this in place so it doesn't move, just so that you guys know. So when you receive it, if you did end up getting a print, I do have that taped in place. This goes down here. I put this in place. Bada boom, bada bing. Or we do it this way, then tape it up, tape up the whole thing. And then I'll show you what I do at the ends too. The label goes here, bam. And that's how it's shipped. It's not bulletproof, but I got Carl's right here. I'm not going to show you his address. The address is on the other side, but you can see it's all taped up the top here. Everything's sealed here. Everything's sealed there. Okay. And yeah. So, and again, that's Carl's address. You don't need to see those, and I'll print them all out myself. Again, Willow said that I should probably do a tombstone statue. Yeah, that's actually what I'm working on right now, just as an add-on. Damien and I are in discussions right now of doing it, which, by the way, here's a couple of the magnificent pieces that he put together for the retrieve program that we're putting together for the California trip. Fantastic. He did such a great job. I hand painted all these, but man, they just look, they're just amazing. Amazing. Okay. So yeah, we're talking about that right now. But I think that there's some definite, there's some definite things that we're going to be doing with that. And I think that something to do. I think what I'd like to do, and I'm going to throw this out to you guys on the Grimm. I really wanted to have something along these lines, this type of figure with a almost translucent resin for this, and then having a solid gravestone that we can paint. We're going to look into that. So I think that might be something I'm going to offer on the next book. Limited edition, very limited, but I don't want to overdo it for Damien. But okay. Okay, give me a second. Let me breathe here. Okay, I'm reading all the comments here. So Eric said, I use Avery labels or aftermarket Avery 2 labels to a sheet and use stamps.com. Okay, to print the labels. Okay, and that's an idea. I mean, there's so many. I know that he was kind enough to mention that to me when I was here, when I called you. I needed some guidance on that. Yeah, and this is one thing. Glenn's got the Hatch book that's coming out. I really want you guys to keep an eye on that. I know Glenn's got a lot going on right now. The next couple weeks that he can't be on shows and stuff. But one of the things about Hatch, his character, I guess it's not a comic strip, but it's a really clever caricature. Fantastic. His wife Helen is a really quite amazing potter, and she's going to be making up a few figurines in clay. Fired that it's going to be awesome. It's going to be very so I think maybe we'll have Helen. Maybe we'll do that for the UK reach. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so that's pretty much the shipping of what I'm going to be doing. One of the things I did here too is I printed out all this list, and I'm not going to show you all the names in that, but I've had to go through and I've knocked down. I've made a list and checklist, and done everything I had to do to get things hopefully worked out with trying to make this a smooth transition to get to the post office and then mail everything out. I'm probably going to be spending an hour at the post office just getting everything's set up. So, it's been an education. I don't think that I would trade it for the world, though. I'm constantly learning, and that's one thing that I really I like about this, because there's things that I know I'm going to evolve. I know I'm going to change certain things with the books. But I think that the covers for the hardcover is going to be really good. And thanks, Glenn. I appreciate that. I don't know if everybody else agrees with that. I know Christine might argue that. I think she's the star, but thanks, man. I think with the hardcover book, having it consistent throughout the series, 1 through 4, and then just changing it to book 4, I think is going to make a huge difference. I think as far as a bound set, I think it's going to be really nice looking. I know that on the 4th book, we talked about compiling them all together in an actual book that's actually going to be leather bound. But that's going to be, a couple $100 to get all that done properly. I actually, let me show you this. So here's a little bit of a treat for you guys. So the book, and this is why I like doing this kind of stuff. So Christine had this book made for me. When I really started writing and things started taking off, Christine had this book made for me. It's a Welsh dragon, and it's all the paper's all hand bound. I don't know if you guys can all see this and that, but it's an incredible book, and I've got writing in it, but I'm not going to show you those. But it's got a Welsh dragon on the front, since my dad was Welsh. It's all embossed and everything else. Well, what I did was I took this and I actually scanned it. And in that's how this book came about. You can see the similarities in it. And then Caitlin took it, and then Tim and Mixum treated it the way it needed to be treated. But you can see don't think for a minute that you can't be creative and make things look, like amazing works of art. But that just lends it a little bit more to why I enjoy it so much, because I could take something that was so dear to me that Christine made for me, and now I can share this with you guys with a book that I did. And I know some people think I'm corny, whatever. If you don't like it, tough. But that's what it's about. That's the creative side of who I am. And you are a part of that now. You guys have this faux imprint of the one of the greatest books that I've ever received. So, and I'm hopefully that you guys think that the series is good, and I hope that you guys enjoy the Grimm 101 effect, because I think it's going to be great. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So look forward to the mailing of this project. You should be receiving it in the mail, hopefully in a week or so. And yeah, I think this is it. I think that we're done for the day, I think, at least for TED Talks. I got a lot of stuff I got to go buy, tape and all kinds of other stuff. So I'm going to let you go. You've been with me an hour. Thank you guys for stopping in at TED Talks. I do want to show, before we go, I do have one of the sponsors of the show that's kind of new today. And just give me a minute here, and I'm going to show you what Glenn's got going.
When they mined an area, they put down yellow tape right across that line. And if you walked on the wrong side of that yellow tape, you blew up.
Strange Tales 136. I remember it very clearly, and that was my first exposure to Kirby. And I wanted to show it to people.
Yeah, it's great stuff, Glenn. Yeah, we're definitely going to be investing in it. I want to make sure that everybody really looks at it that's a Jack Kirby fan. And if you know somebody that's a Jack Kirby fan, it's a no-brainer. And if you've got an inspiring artist that want to become part of the collective, this comic book thing, Jack is pretty much stable. And I think that you guys would really, the book alone is worth it. So check out everything Glenn's doing, of course. I know he's got a lot going on right now. And I don't know, my thoughts are with you, bro. Okay, so let's see who else we've got here. Paul, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, man. Look forward to hopefully getting this out to you soon here. And we'll get that rolling. Let's see. Carl says, I need to figure up some costs now, and the cost of bribing Donna into helping might be too much. Well, we'll see. If I can help, I won't charge you. So if there's anything I can do to help out, man, let me know. Of course, I'll be investing in your project because I believe in you. I think that the Mad Gasser 2 is going to be so much better than Mad Gasser 1, which is already awesome. So check that out. Thank you guys for listening to me. We'll be sending these out. Like I said, you guys have the first drafts of this this tale, and I hope you guys are enjoying it while reading it. It's a small read. It's going to be easy to read, but hopefully it's thought provoking. And then book 2 will be out. I'll be saying that the Kickstarter will be out in October. The book probably won't be done until, if it's not at Christmas, it'll be in January. So we'll have to kind of figure that out, the game plan with that as far as production and getting it mailed out. Because I think Christmas might be pushing it, but we'll see how that goes. But so the book 2, so you don't have to wait too long to find out a little bit more about Gwendolyn. Yeah, she's pretty amazing. She's a great character. But yeah, so Grimm's ready to go. So we're going to be sending that out this week. Real quick, just as far as TED Talks itself, I'm not going to be on for the next, let's see, almost 3 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks today that I'll be returning. It'll be, I'm not sure exactly what date it is, but I got a lot going on with my book retrieve. People know that I'm going to be going out to California because I've got some meetings for optioning. I don't know where it's going to go right now, but we're hopeful. And there's a few things that it's basically building the foundation to get the book completed or not the book, but the script completed for option. Meeting up with producer Craig Hall, and we're doing a lot of good things, and it's exciting. I am going to document it. I'm probably going to have a bunch of different video shorts that I'm going to be posting here and there. So look for me on Facebook and that, possibly YouTube, but it won't be. I won't be doing TED Talks like I'm doing right now. TED Talks timepieces or anything is going to be kind of by the wayside, and the Truth Mongers for a few weeks. But we'll be returning, I think, the 4th week of September. Drinking with the Davies will be that week, as well as I think the Cigar Show as well. But right now it's all getting retrieved to the point, the book retrieved to the point where it's ready for casting, it's ready for option, and it's ready for some bigger things to have happen. So, and I appreciate everybody that's invested in that. Anybody who purchased the book on its own or through Grimm 101's campaign, thank you. And that's, that was a blessing, that whole thing. So I'm really looking forward to bringing Retrieve to the silver screen. I'm hoping that we can do it in relatively good times in the near future. So, but it's going to take a little bit, I want to document the trip. I want to document the process as we go, and then we'll just see, where it takes us. But we're looking forward to it. Thank you for being part of this. This journey it's great, and I hope that inspires you a bit to get your story out there and get it scripted and get it made into something great that people will be talking about and enjoying for years to come. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. Be safe. Do something good for somebody. Please be safe right now. There's a lot going on, and I'm not going to get into all that, but just be safe. I wish everybody good health, much success, no envy, no fear, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again.